It's still unclear who the new president of Nigeria will be after elections that took place at the weekend. First results are starting to trickle amid delays and disruptions. Competition has been fierce between the three front runners to replace President Muhammadu Buhari. We're joined now from Lagos by David Ajikobi from Africa Check to give us the latest. David, good afternoon. Welcome to Today on eNCA here in Johannesburg. Just to get the latest from you, first an overriding question. Is Nigeria anywhere near close to finding out the final outcome of these elections, or is the counting, the tallying of votes still underway?
Well, the question to your answer is not quite. The counting is still very much on the way. So the way the collation works is like it works from the polling unit down to the local government, down to the states at the state level, and then the election results are then transmitted, taken to the National Collation Center, which is based in Abuja. So as we speak now, not all of the states have been collated in terms of that, and the election results are still coming in. So the answer to your question is not yet.
Yeah, I've seen some reports, though, trickling in terms of which of the three candidates has won which state. But, I mean, the official word will have to come from the Independent National Electoral Commission, as you say. But the third candidate has drawn a lot of interest because historically it's been a two-horse race, so to speak, in Nigeria for many years. But the Labour Party fielded Peter Obi. Apparently he's won the Lagos state. Is that true?
Yes, that's confirmed. The Lagos State Collation Center has done its collation and that's transmitted to Abuja. And what we see is that the Labour Party has won by a very slight margin. What is even ironic is that the Labour Party is actually still contesting the results from Lagos State. It feels that the margin were much wider than what was reported by what was collated at the center in Lagos. So that's quite interesting. But yes, you are very correct that the Lagos State is the stronghold of the APC. It is the stronghold of the APC presidential candidate. That is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And it's historically, you would not have at the presidential level. You would not have a party that is neither not the PDP or APC win Lagos, but this is the first time where the third force, the Labour Party, would win in a state that is considered an APC stronghold. And this is also very interesting. And from speaking as a fact checker, this is also very interesting because within Lagos, I mean, as you would know, the candidate of the APC is a Yoruba man from the southwest. The candidate of the Labour Party, presidential candidate of the Labour Party, is an Igbo man from the southeast. Then we have two other candidates who are from the northern part of the country. And Nigeria's politics is multi-ethnic, multi-religious, and multicultural, in nature. It has all of those infusions into it. But, even with reports that some people were intimidated from voting in Lagos, particularly people from the Igbo extraction, they were some polling units were cancelled, some polling units were sort of disrupted. Our polling units that were historically would vote for Igbo voters, Igbo registered voters, were attacked, were targeted by some thugs of other political parties. And then we still saw this result. That's significant. But I think that's about where it ends for now. The counting for other states still going on. It's still too early to call. And also perhaps a word of caution to our South African readers, listeners, from here from Nigeria. There's a lot, as a fact checker, there's a lot of disinformation around the election coalition going on right now. As I speak to you, we are at a precipice where, there's so much disinformation around the election results that it's even hard to know which one is real. And also the context and why what has fed, sort of the explosion of fake news around the election result is also because the Electoral Commission had deployed an IREV, where an election portal that was supposed to be used for the transmission of results from the BVAS, which is the biometric verification point unit, down to system to the IREV, which was supposed to create that kind of level of transparency of the transmission of the results. Historically, Nigeria had a big issue with the transmission of election results. But right now, because of the issues they have from Saturday evening uploading the results till now, and some of the results till now, it has created that room for disinformation and misinformation around the actual election results.
But how much trust then do Nigerian voters have in the commission that the commission will declare a free and fair election and that the results will be credible?
Well, I think from a factual basis, the Nigerians and concerned parties they've asked INEC several times. I mean, there's evidence. They've asked INEC several times and, repeatedly saying, are you sure the BVAS is going to work? Are you sure IREV is going to work? Because these are newly introduced technologies, newly introduced portal. And they've asked them repeatedly over and over again. And INEC has assured Nigerians that, it's going to work. It cannot be hacked. There won't be any delays. It can be loaded offline and things like that. But what we saw, what we're seeing now, is that it's almost the exact opposite. There are issues, reported issues with uploading the results from Beavers to IREV and things like that. Transmitting the results. And like I said, historically, why the problem usually is not, in a sense, the conduct of the elections itself. Sometimes it's mostly about the transmission of the results from the polling units up the chain down to the collation centers and then to the national collation centers. That is where some of the discrepancies sort of happens. Even at the moment, even at the certified collation centers, some numbers still don't add up. So that's interesting.
Yeah. So knowing all of this and just observing from a fact checker perspective, how long do you think Nigeria has to wait for a proclamation of the final results? Is it several days from today?
Well, there's really no saying, because apart from even when the collation continues and maybe in a couple of days, maybe a winner or whatever, the numbers might come. There still might be a possibility of a runoff, because the Nigeria's electoral act stipulates what it means, how you would become a president. You have to win majority of the votes and across with a spread, a two-third spread across the country. Because the idea was not to have a regional president, someone that has a spread across the country. So that's still very, very much uncertain. So we might have to just wait and see.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. And just finally, do you think, from what you've seen, from a fact-checker perspective, that the incidents of violence that were reported in other parts, apparently there was even a mortar attack in one part of Nigeria, would have a huge impact on the final outcome of these elections? Well,
INEC has come out to say, the electoral body has come out to say that it will look at all of these incidences and factor them in sort of looking at the numbers and how, all these incidents, how they affect the general elections or the elections in those communities where maybe ballot boxes were snatched or people were attacked or things like that. So it has said it will do that. And this historically, that is not the first. These elections will not be the first elections where some of the attacks will happen, But hopefully, our fear is that disinformation does not drive or does not lead to post-election violence, because we are already seeing that the tension is now rising. All of the major political parties have come out to say they have issues with the results. They have all the leading political parties in the presidential elections have come out to express their concerns around the results and transmission of the results at national level. So our fear is that we hope that does not stoke and lead to more or to any post-election violence across the country, because tension really is high across the country.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, your insights this hour on Today on eNCA, DSTV channel 403. That's David Ajikobi talking to us from Lagos. He's, of course, an African fact checker, just giving us a sense of how long Nigerians have to wait for the final results of the presidential elections. There's tension, apprehension, and all kinds of concerns at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see what develops over the next 24 hours or so.